Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Majo here with another episode of Majo no Tabitabi. So, last episode we had this chance encounter with a girl named Saya who apparently has become an apprentice witch. Maybe we'll see her again someday. But honestly, I've said all I said in the last episode. I wasn't too impressed by the entire story and the entire setting and all that. So, you know, it's just not particularly to my taste. So anyways, I do hope that we get into a much more interesting situation in this episode. Not really much to recap since I presume it's not going to have anything to do with the past few episodes. So let's just cut to the chase and, well, I'll see you in the episode. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. I have a feeling that my intros or recaps for this series is going to be pretty short, considering that they are kind of episodic in nature. Although, maybe there will be a longer arc, who knows. I was just about to comment that. You can fly as high as you want and you fly in forests? Okay. It's you! The Ashen Witch, Elaina. Oh, alright. That's it? Alright. But what she was saying at the very beginning there probably gives some hint as to what we're going to see in this episode. So are we going to get into a little bit of a pinch here? You know, sometimes I do think how awesome a life like that would be. One of my favorite pastimes is actually watching YouTube. And one of my favorite kinds of videos on YouTube are actually watching those, you know, live in the wilderness or, you know, those vagabond life kind of people. There was a time when I was completely hooked on watching videos of like, of sailboats and stuff, like living on a boat, traveling the world, that kind of stuff. Or van life. Living in a van and then traveling around. With that being said, I'm sure it's it's a lot more romantic in my mind than it is in real life. You gotta have a specific personality to do that. Okay. So I guess this is the girl who's gonna have like some sort of dark secret? Okay, that is suspicious as hell. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too naturally suspicious, but all sorts of warning flags are going off in my mind right now. That's even without, like, even without Elena's monologue at the very beginning there. I'd be very suspicious of something like this. Okay, so is there a twist in the story here somewhere? Eek. Yeah, he's a goner. What is she gonna do about this situation? What does she feel about this situation? We still don't really know much about her, to be honest. Ooh, are all these people... Huh. I wonder if burning the flowers actually helps release the fumes within them. Huh? Okay, so I guess we're not doing anything at all. Okay. Is this supposed to be like some sort of like fable or something? Now, what are you gonna do with them? Still the adventures of Nike. Yeah, I'm gonna venture a guess and say it wasn't exactly a pretty ending. So it is kind of related in a way? Huh. Interesting. You want to take up a job acting, Elaina? Hey. Where's all the people? Okay. Saya? That's a big portion. Oh. Well, you did manage to eat everything. Good for you. Oh, his name is Emil. Nah, just gonna clean it up. Good of what? Is it a good thing to give other people's happiness to someone? I kind of feel like Hmm. Why do I feel like... I kind of feel like this is something like a drug, in a sense. Like, once you... Oh, so you don't actually feel the happiness? You just see it? Oh, okay. That was much more tame than I was thinking, honestly. I think... Yeah, I would think so. Killed herself. And that's what Nino's gonna do. And there we go. And that's exactly what this is, isn't it? Sort of like a fable of some sorts. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So in essence, this is like a lot of each episode, each short story is like a fable of some sort. All right, see you guys after this. Okay, and with this episode, I think that pretty much sets the tone for this series, and I'm pretty sure that by this episode, those who are expecting more of a, I guess, classic shonen kind of thing where you gotta act, you gotta do something, and so on and so forth, have probably already dropped the series. To me, though, I'm actually completely okay with this. If you guys do know me or have already seen my other videos, you probably know that I do tend to like these kinds of what I consider lawful neutral or true neutral characters, at least according to alignment chart, right? So basically, this episode is establishing Elaina as an amoral character, right? She doesn't have any particular leaning towards either good or evil or anything, or at least from principle, according to her own principles that she chooses to follow, she's not going to actively take a side here, right? So I do like that. It's basically going through the world, going through the situation as a pure observer here. Now, not to take sides or anything, but just to see, to record, and indeed, that is what she said she would do, right? So I have absolutely no problem with this. Now, with that being said, though, I do consider the second short story a lot more interesting than the first one because she actually wrote some of her own comments on there. For instance, honestly, for the first little short story there, you could maybe view all these various short stories as a sort of fable or whatnot. But if it were a fable, then you wouldn't need to you would have to learn something, right? You would have to have a lessons learned or something of that sort coming out through it. honestly, from the first episode, from the first little short story here, I couldn't quite see what the lesson learned was, unless it was literally the monologue at the very beginning, and that, things that are beautiful have their dark side, or something like that, right? I mean, if that was the lesson learned, then I gotta say that was a pretty stupid one and a pretty stupid example. Honestly, I wasn't expecting her to do anything about the situation. However, I was expecting her to at least give some sort of commentary, right? Again, not to say that she should choose a side or, she should be all heroic and save the city and whatnot. That's not her fight. The same thing in the second story as well. That's not her fight. The instance, I feel like I got her personality pretty good, because since she didn't do anything in the first little short story, I wasn't expecting her to do anything in the second short story either, because that fits the establishment of her character. So I guess you could say this episode was pretty successful in that we at least now know what Elaina's stance on these things are, because you gotta think about it, right? Honestly, the guy the village chief did not exactly do anything wrong within the customs of this time. You have to put it within context, right? He is completely in the legal right. That is a slave that he legally owns, right? And this is a world that practices slavery and such. So, call me politically incorrect or anything, but that's just the situation, all right? So I do like that she didn't choose to do anything, because that falls in line with what she did in the previous little short story there. However, the reason why I feel like the second short story is still much more interesting to me than the first one is because she actually made some commentary at the end there. And the commentary wasn't exactly taking a side or anything, but I think it was more sort of like a self-warning, or a warning to others as well. Once, if we assume the position that she's writing all this down in a diary, and she's eventually going to make a book as well, to basically warn others of this exact same situation, right? For the second story, you can clearly view that as a sort of fable. We had a moral of the story. Elaina didn't particularly take any side. She just said that if you want to do things like this, there will be consequences. And in this particular instance that she witnessed, well, the consequences might be dire. They might be nothing. Hey, who knows? Perhaps those two actually lived happily ever after, right? Maybe the son was able to convince his dad to let up a little bit, or once he became of age, she got authority as well, took her as a wife, and then she could, who knows, maybe live a life of freedom as well, right? You don't know. You can't really comment on saying that, okay, this situation is entirely bad just because we left it here, right? So I do like this sort of ambiguity here, but I do hope that in the future, all the various situations that they are going to go through, we're gonna hear some commentary from Elaina as well. At least for her to put some insight into the situation, right? I'm not saying that I want her to take any side. In fact, I love the fact that she's taking a neutral side right now, but I do want her to contribute a little bit more to the experiences that she witnessed firsthand, is what I'm saying here. You could be a pure observer, sure, that kind of works as well, but sometimes you gotta put your own input, you gotta put your own, how can I say, you gotta have your own contribution to the entire thing. Otherwise, especially in terms of this episode, in the two short stories that were said here, she already read about them in other books, right? So if she doesn't add her own commentary, well, why would she need to republish a diary or republish a book containing these journeys when somebody else has already gone through them? And indeed, if she already learned about them already through a book. So I do hope that in the future she's going to say a bit more in regards to the situation. Like even just one line or two line or something like that. I would have been much more satisfied with the first short story in this one. But in any case, like I said, those that probably don't dislike this kind of format will probably already be dropping this series right now. I like it. I do hope that she can continue to do things like this. I do kind of wonder though, like, is this going to be the same case throughout, or is there going to become a time when she basically settles on a particular sort of stance or anything? Who knows, right? Maybe this is the evolution of Elaina as well, maybe not. We'll have to see about that. In any case, that's it for episode 3 of Majo no Tabitabi. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.